So, it has been a little bit. I no excuses. We're here. I'm ready to play this goddamn game. For today's objective, so I haven't played this in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe. I don't know. It really did make me rage quit, which is the series, right? But we're back. I guess I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I think that in all reality, I was going through a little bit of a downtime. I won't bore you guys with the details because I've talked a lot about mental health and different things on this channel over the past 4 or 5 years, and we all struggle with different things, and no one struggles harder than the next person. Like, everyone struggles. And I think I was just going through a bit of a time period where at least for like 4 or 5 weeks it felt like that I just didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to do anything. I just felt kind of, I don't know, just not there. Just not all there. And I'm not really sure what caused it. I don't know if it was just tiredness, if it was just seasonal, if it was, I think I do have something that just happens to me every 6 months-ish, where I just churn everything off and I'm kind of a shell for a little while and sort of need to reset and get back to where I was. And I'm feeling really good now and feeling where I was at least a couple months ago, and feel motivated to make content. I think my biggest thing is, like, I don't like making content when I'm not in a good headspace, because I feel like a lot of the time I'm forcing it, and I don't have a ton of people who watch me regularly, but the views have been going up, and I do hope one day to be a full-time YouTuber. Like, that's my dream, that's my goal, and I lose sight of that dream and goal when I'm in those like just bad state of mind, and I don't like making content in that state of mind, because I do feel like maybe you guys can't notice it, but I do. Like, when I'm editing and stuff, and like it's not that I'm like afraid to be vulnerable, like, that's definitely not it, but I'm afraid that like the content isn't good. And then, as you're a growing YouTuber, or trying to grow, excuse me, every video matters, if that makes sense. Every video counts. This would probably be the first time someone's watching your content, and you want it to be halfway decent, right? Or at least, leave them with something, like they gained something from the video, or they laughed, or maybe they were able to escape for a couple minutes and watch your shit. And I just feel like I can't do that really well when I'm mentally not in it. And it might sound excuses. It is. It for sure is, right? Like, if I was better at it, I should just be able to power through and make the content for people. But alas, I don't. Oh, man. But with that all being said, I tried to upload a couple videos here and there. Ones that I can really focus on and allow for the creative juices to just kind of already be there, kind of like the Factor Cap series and whatnot. Because I've done so much research and shit that being able to just talk about paranormal and whatnot is kind of second nature. So those are easier videos for me to make, even though they're longer and take a little bit longer to edit. It's just more fun. well, not, excuse me, not more fun. Like, I like making these types of videos because at my core, I am a gamer, and I do enjoy playing all the different types of games, even these rage-inducing, shitty ones, like Jump King. But yeah, so I guess the short of the long, kind of rambled there for a minute, is sort of was going down a little bit of a hole of mental health, and was kind of sparingly putting out some videos. I took last week completely off just to try and get all my ducks in order, and I'm still transitioning to a new career, and it's been a good transition, and I'm really enjoying it. However, I had got on a schedule that worked really good for me, and I was really excited about it. And this, I'm not going to mention said career just because they are a big company, and I don't want to be linked to it on here. I like to keep my passions and dreams separate from my careers and other things that I do outside of work. But I was able to get into the position that I wanted, and the kind of the schedule that I wanted, and I had experience in this field before, so I kind of I knew what I was doing. And once they realized that, they kind of they entrusted me with a little bit more of a difficult task, and it required me to move the location that I was working at, and then also because of this I had to shift my schedule around, and I was working the schedule that I liked and that I was on was pretty much a 9 to 5. And I know some people hate 9 to 5s. I personally love them. As someone who's worked the gambit of schedules, right? Like, I've worked 6 a.m. to 2, I've worked 5 a.m. to 1, I've worked 6 a.m. to 4, like 4:10s. I've worked 3:12s before. I've worked like red eye shifts, like 2:30 a.m. to like 8 a.m. Like, I've kind of worked all the different variety because I've always wanted to know, like, okay, well, what works best for me? And 9 to 5, funny enough, is what works best for me, because I don't feel like the best way I can explain it, right, is like, if you're waking up at 8 and doing your daily routines, or even 7:30, right, and you're doing your daily routines, you can still go to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and maybe even midnight if you want to push it a little bit and get like just 8 hours of sleep, and get up and do like a quicker morning routine. You're not missing your whole nighttime, and you still have ample amount of time to go to bed and get good sleep, and spend time with your family or friends or whatever it is at night, and then still be able to go in the morning and not feel completely tired. And it just works for me, right? Well, now the shift that I'm working is a night shift. So I'm working pretty much 5 p.m. to midnight, 1 a.m. And this isn't a shift that I'm new to, because for when I first kind of started working when I was 15, I was working similar shifts, and then at the company that I was at, as I got promoted and got older, I did work this same shift. And it's not all bad. I've always felt more kind of like a night owl. That's why I liked the 9 to 5, because I could still stay up till like midnight and not really blink an eye at it. And, this shift is decent because, like, you depending on how well you sleep, like, you could have like half a day to go do stuff during the morning, and then also you have your night after you get off work. The problem is, at least for me right now, is my body has always been more more just in tune with like a 9 to 5 or whatever. So for the life of me, and I've been trying to fix it, well, not fix it, but adjust it. I just wake up every day at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. No alarm, nothing like that. And I usually, like, naps are really hit and miss for me. Sometimes I can nap just fine, some days I can't. So when you wake up at 8 after working until midnight and falling asleep at 1, you know, it's not great. You know, my body's not getting enough sleep, and I've been kind of feeling like crap physically because of it. I don't remember where I was going with this tangent. But yeah, so I'm not on the schedule that I want to be on anymore, and it's kind of a bummer. Because also I had the days off of the week that I wanted, and now I don't. I have the grossest days off of the week, which is Monday and Tuesday, and it's super shitty. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my wife because, well, she's supportive either way, but like her days off are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. She works 4/10s. So, and like I like Friday and Saturday, I pretty much always have to work. That's in my contract that I have to work those days, and it's fine. Like, I don't have an issue with that, but it sucks because like now her and I don't share any days off, and even though I'm sure we'll make it work, it just kind of, I don't know, it just sucks. So we have to kind of now work around both of our shifts, where prior I had Wednesday, Thursday off, and it was nice because I could hang out with her Wednesday night after she got off work, and she wouldn't have to go to bed super early. And then Thursday we could have the whole day, and same thing, like, you know, even though I had to work Friday mornings, you know, I didn't have to work until 9 o'clock, so I could still stay up most of the night and, you know, do whatever we wanted to do. But now with this newer schedule, it kind of sucks. I'm working on trying to change it, because I'm sort of, without giving away details, I'm running a location in a certain field, and I kind of, you know, I make everyone's schedule, but as the position I'm in, I'm kind of, you know, I'm required to fill. Like, I kind of have to make my people happy, and then put myself where I need to be to make sure everything's running proper. And at the moment, with who I have and what we have, I have to put myself in these hours. And the nice thing is like, since I am in charge of the hours and whatnot, like, once I get the proper people in the proper positions, I'm sure I'll be able to shift what hours I'm doing, so I can kind of have a little bit better work-life balance. Or at least, I mean, it's not bad. Like, I don't feel necessarily overworked or anything like that, but work-life balance is in the hours that I would prefer to have off. But regardless, it's always hard work, and, you know, no career, no job, nothing like that is ever perfect. You know, that's a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn. And I always feel bad, like, individuals who put the, like, careers and stuff on a pedestal. Like, no matter what you do, I think, unless you're an entrepreneur, because that's a whole other ball field. You know, any career field, you're going to have your negatives with it. Any job, you're going to have your negatives with it. And in reality, it depends on how the person handles those negatives, right? If you're super negative and you just can't get over the mental hurdles, like, you're never going to find something that makes you happy. But if you can keep a positive outlook, even with some negatives, you know, it's much easier. It makes life a lot better too. And I'm super happy with where I'm at, and I'm making the most money that I've ever had, and I feel rewarded and accomplished, and I still have the ability and time to chase my dreams like this, like what we're doing here, and you know, I can't really complain. Oh, fuck. I can't complain about this game, though, because it fucking sucks. I've been, like, quietly just playing it in the background while I'm talking, and the rage hasn't really been building, but, this game is really frustrating. Oops, that was an accident. This game's frustrating because I don't think I've taken the time to really, like, look or pay attention to, like, maybe the timing or the triggers. I mean, someone in the comment section in the last video brought in a really good point on how to sort of measure your jumps better, and I should really full-heartedly take his advice because it would make this game a lot easier, but here I am, not doing that, like an idiot. But it's a rage quit series. I think people want to see me get angry. I don't know. I'm pretty happy today, so I don't know how angry I'm actually gonna get. The one weird thing too, like going back to kind of what we were talking about before with like mental illness and depression and different things like that, is like, for me personally, and I'm not speaking for anyone else except myself because I'm the only person who experiences I can talk on, you know, I'm kind of more of a, how do I explain it? When I get into a bad mental state, I sort of will just spiral for a certain amount of time, and a lot of the time I don't even realize I'm doing it, and, you know, I have things that I'll notice and be like, oh shit, like, I'm not in a good spot, like, I stop, like, cleaning, and I'm not, like, to the point of, like, absolute pigsty. I mean, a little bit. My desk is pretty gross right now. But, like, I'll start noticing, like, my room, like, my clothes are just, like, all over the floor, or, like, haven't taken trash out in, like, a week or two, and, you know, and then, like, I'll sit back and I'll just kind of be like, oh shit, like, I've been neglecting these things, and then, like, I'll just kind of, like, it just kind of all hits me. I'm like, man, I am kind of not feeling great, and haven't been feeling great for a while. But the silver lining to it is I always, once I am able to, and hopefully I'll always be able to get out of it, you know, I kind of take away lessons, and am able to self-reflect on the experience as a whole, and, you know, maybe try and find what caused it, and how I can avoid it next time. And, you know, as I get older, I think it gets easier, but also at some points it does feel a lot harder because you just have more things going on that are more important than when you're younger, right? Not to like say young people can't have mental illness, because they definitely can, but, you know, when you start having bills and people that you love and rely on, and they rely on you to be there, and, you know, you want to be good with your friends, and bills, and, you know, societal pressures and careers and all that type of jazz, like, it just seems like it's more daunting of a task. But so, like, it in some cases it feels harder the older I get, but it also feels easier because I know the things that help me get better now. You I have that toolkit of things to kind of soften the blow a little bit, where, younger me didn't have that toolkit and would just do the things that I wish I didn't do, like, a drink or smoke weed or whatever, and just try and use that as a scapegoat. And, for some people it might work, and it worked for me for a small period of my life, and then I realized that it was causing more issue than solving, and I now have the toolkit of things that do work for me, and it makes it a lot easier to get out of it, as well as maintain for a longer period. Like, the one thing that I've definitely noticed is my gaps of feeling kind of shitty have spread out a lot more, which is a great thing. Like, remember, it used to be every couple months I'd have like a week or two where I'm just like, man, fuck this, I feel like shit, and what do I do? And now it's more like I'll go like 6 months, 8 months, maybe even a year of really good, and then it's just like, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, by the way, you still got this, and this that you've never dealt with, or, or the lingering issues, or self-esteem, or whatever it is, and then just kind of go down the rabbit hole from there. But thankfully, I'm out of it. I feel really good, and, I think the one nice thing about, at least for me, is like, aside from overeating and being obese, I don't do, my body, for the most part, doesn't, like, I don't do anything that really hurts it, or, how do I say it? Like, I don't use drugs or alcohol anymore to help, or to try and, like, ease the pain, so I don't ever have to worry about the issues that come with those things. And most of the time it's just my mental state will feel kind of shitty for a little while, and sometimes it's easier than others. Sometimes I'll just feel kind of like I just want to be left alone, which is tough because you can't really do that if you want to be like a productive member and achieve goals. You can't really just disappear or be left alone. Or if you have like relationships and family and whatnot, like, you can't just be like, hey, fuck off, leave me alone for 3 weeks. But a lot of the time, that's really what I feel like would be the best solution for me, is being able to just kind of like, and I know self-isolation is never a good thing, right? And a lot of people say that that's a really damning coping mechanism. But I do feel like I have a slight different opinion on it, just because I grew up an only child. And you might be thinking, oh, what does that have to do with anything? Well, at a young age, oh cool, we're back at the start. Fuck this game, man. Jesus Christ. At a young age, I learned how to be alone really well. And I don't mean that in like a sad way, like, oh, you didn't have any siblings or friends. I had tons of friends. I always had great friends my whole entire life. My parents have always been there for me, and always have been like, they all my childhood, I got all the attention I ever wanted or needed. But I learned how to be alone and love it. Like, I love being alone sometimes. I love just doing what I want to do by myself with no concern. And it's not like oh, like, I just want to be alone and be sad or whatever. No, it's like I entertain myself really well, and a lot of my toolkit is like doing the things that make me happy, and a lot of that is like things I do by myself. And and don't get me wrong, like I always try and reach out for help if I need help. Like I always do if I need help. If I know that I'm not gonna be able to get through something without talking to someone, like I'll call a therapist, or I call like people who know me really well that can talk to me and get me through things or reassure me or whatever it is. Um, but a lot of the time, like what makes me get out of these episodes or whatever you want to call it is like I know the things that kind of reset my mental health, and if I go through them, and most of them are by myself, like I come out feeling a lot better. And it's stuff like meditation, and there's music and movies and whatnot that make me really happy and make me rethink what I'm doing. And I have comfort games, and I have there's other stuff too that are more personal that I'm not going to get into. Like I write a lot, and I do some poetry and different things like that, and like I do all those things, and like I'll write down like I'll write a poem about how I'm feeling in the moment, and like it helps me kind of ease the pain a little bit, or and all these things though are like very personal and things you do alone. And it's tough to explain that to people, because it's awesome that we have such a open conversation now about mental illness as a society. And I think that it'd be hard pressed to say that no, like there's not anybody who doesn't suffer. I think everyone does in their own right. And the thing is though is like there's these trigger words for people, and they immediately think that they need to like help. And as awesome as it is for people to want to be helpful, there is times where it's kind of like, hey, like I just need to be alone. And then people think like, oh, they're self-isolating, they need more help. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't self-isolate and cause and be more destructive. Like, I do my task list of cleaning up my mental health, and then I go from there. And then, I don't know. I think it's a fine balance. I think every single person who does suffer from some sort of mental health deficit, or whatever you want to call it, like creating a task list of things that do make you happy and can kind of make you get you out of that state, I think is super important and kind of overlooked a little bit. I think there's bad habits that we all fall into that don't help. Like for me, it's overeating for sure. Like when I get into like a bad mental state, like my first thing is like, oh yeah, food makes me happy, right? So then I'll just order all this shitty food that I think makes me happy. And and I won't lie, for in the moment too, for sure. Like I'm eating it and I'm like, man, it tastes good. Like reminds me of like good times or whatever it is that my brain tells me about this shitty food. And I'll just eat. And then after I'm done eating and then I reflect on what I just did, I'm like more depressed, right? Like I'm more upset with the decision. That's like my really bad habit and my really bad coping mechanism. I think everyone has really bad coping mechanisms, like who do suffer from some sort of. Oh, what? What is this? Dude, I got a hat. Look how fucking cool I look. Well, that's sweet. I didn't know there was hats in this game. I had other ones too that were not great. Like, I talked like I would drink or I would smoke weed, or Tinder was a big one for me for a long time. And, I shouldn't say a long time. For a short time period, it was, and that was worse than smoking weed or drinking for sure. It's just, I think that as you grow and mature, you kind of notice the bad things, and for whatever reason, I still use food as like this escape, which is not a good thing. And I've done better over the past 2 or 3 years, but it's still a battle. And my allergies have been. 'Tis the season for the allergies to come back and haunt me. So if I sound a little congested, I am. But yeah, I don't remember what I was rambling on about. Probably just silly stuff. But yeah, I think that if you are someone who also has or suffers from different mental illnesses or depression or anxiety, I think that creating like a to-do list or a task list of things to remind yourself, like, hey, these things will make you feel better, because sometimes in the moment you just don't think about it, or you don't remember, or like you don't want to. But if you set yourself up with some sort of keep yourself in checklist or something, I don't know. I have a notebook that I use, and all the things that make me happy when I'm not feeling great, I just jot down, and then when I'm not feeling great, I'll just go in there and be like, which one seems like it fits right now, and usually works out. And don't ever, we talk a lot about fitness, and I will say, like, as I get older, the fitness industry is kind of gross, especially like mainstream fitness industry. I think we should really avoid that, like the mainstream fitness industry. But every single person should be active, regardless of if you do or you don't like certain things. Like you will be happy. You will be more happy. And like I think too, there's like this societal pressure of like needing to go to the gym and be like super buff as a guy or super trim as a girl, or whatever terms you want to use. And that's cool. It's a great goal to have. Being as healthy as possible is never a bad thing, right? But for a lot of people, it's it's not their passion, it's not their life goal to be a Bradley Martin, or I don't know what the equivalent is for a woman. Those aren't their goals, but you should always be doing something, and don't underestimate like the little things. Doing like a 30-minute to an hour walk every day could save your life, honestly. And 30, like, if you're so busy that you can't make 30 minutes to an hour, I'm either calling you a liar, or you need to be better at time management. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to go somewhere. You don't need to go to a gym and walk on a treadmill. Like, shit. If you live in an apartment, go walk around your apartment complex. If you live in a rural area, go on a cool walk. Like, go on a hike maybe. Like, it doesn't cost money to do these things, and the benefits are amazing. I've started going on daily walks myself almost every single day now, and it's not about the number that's on the scale. It's not about looking a certain way for someone. Like, it has nothing to do with that anymore. It's about feeling good and not wanting to die at a young age. That's like, at least from my perspective, right? I'm sure not all of you are overweight or obese, but you get to a point in health where you really have to see the bigger picture. And I'm not getting any younger. I don't consider myself old by any stretch of imagination, but I'm also not. I'm not getting younger. And if I don't start really doing things now, it's just going to cause irreversible damage. But I think it doesn't matter how fit you are, how unfit you are. Like, if you need to be doing something, like that's not a suggestion. That's a you need to be doing something. And B, like, it will, if you're suffering from mental health problems, it does help. You know. And like I said, it doesn't need to be, you don't need to go out there and start lifting and bench pressing and squatting. Like, sure, that might help too. But that's not what you need to do. Like, walking every day is a great start. And if you do it every day for the rest of your life, you'll be happier and more healthy than you are now not doing it. You know? And if going to the gym is not in your mind, if you, for whatever reason, you just hate it or you don't want to be a part of that culture, I completely understand, right? That's fine. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of alternatives. You know, I just thought of a thing that I think I might get into that's a healthier thing that, you know, might help. Like medieval combat training. It looks really fun, and there's a place where I live that trains it. You know, it's like super demanding on your body. You know, and not like in a negative way, like obviously unless you're like competing, but it's an alternative to the typical fitness stuff. You know, maybe you like volleyball, join a volleyball club. Maybe you like, I don't know, there's tons of stuff. There really is. There's active groups and clubs for almost anything you can think of. And I suggest everybody joining and getting involved in something. Doesn't need to be the craziest thing in the world, but I promise you it'll help. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call it here for this one. We made some progress. We're an hour and 45 minutes into this session. Attempt 6, session 5. Jumps 3,000, fails 369. Nice. Yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble. This really wasn't a rage quit, but you know, we're playing this game, we're making progress. I'm sure next episode I'll focus more on the game and get more upset. I actually did better not focusing as hard and just kind of like talking, so maybe that's a strat. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Please reach out as well if you need anything. If you want to talk, I do have a Discord. You can join the Discord, message me directly. If there's anything you want to talk about that maybe got brought up during this episode, please reach out. My door's always unlocked for any individual who needs help or wants help or maybe just to toss ideas around. You're more than welcome. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.